Victoria Mboko shares how she avoided losing focus after major win versus Coco Gauff. Victoria Mboko describes beating Coco Gauff as a special experience, but highlights she was aware that the job was not done and what would help her stay focused and get to the Montreal semi-final. In one of her opening 3 Montreal matches, the 18-year-old wildcard recorded her maiden win over a Grand Slam champion when she beat 2020 Australian Open winner Sophia Kenin. Then another major victory followed when the teenage sensation sent reigning French Open champion Gauff home after handling the top seed a 6-1 6-4 defeat. After stunning Gauff in the Canadian Open round of 16, Mboko returned to the court on Monday to play her first WTA 1000 quarterfinal. And she got the job done routinely once again after ousting world number 51 Jessica Buza's Monero 6-4 6-2. Is not uncommon for young players to lose focus or get mentally overwhelmed after beating a top player or clinching a strong result. However, in the Montreal quarterfinal, the 18-year-old showed no signs of that. Mboko asked how she was able to keep the same focus after the Gauff win. Well, of course, the play against Coco, it was a really special experience, and I was really happy to have won that day. But, at the end of the day, I'm still in the tournament, so it's not like I went to celebrate or anything. I was still kind of locked in like I normally am in a tournament. You play a tournament because you want to win it. So I think I just had that kind of mentality. Yeah, that's just it, the home star explained. On Wednesday, Mboko will have a chance to collect her 3rd win over a Grand Slam champion in Montreal since she plays against Elena Rybakina in the semi-final. In their first and lone meeting that came in Washington 12 days ago, the 2022 Wimbledon champion beat the Canadian 6-3 7-5. There is no doubt that Mboko will be determined and motivated to make amends for the Washington loss in front of their home fans. The crowd was still buzzing hours after the match. Canadian teen sensation Victoria Mboko had just pulled off the unthinkable, beating reigning U.S. Open champion Coco Gauff in straight sets on center court in Toronto. It was the biggest win of her young career, the kind of victory that usually sends players spiraling into emotional overdrive. But Mboko didn't crumble under the weight of the moment. She didn't celebrate wildly. She didn't scroll social media for validation. Instead, she went for a quiet walk with her coach, grabbed a smoothie, and then, believe it or not, watched match footage of her next opponent. Because for Victoria Mboko, the journey isn't about one moment of brilliance, it's about building a legacy. The win that shook the draw. The Canadian Open was already electric, but when 18-year-old wild card Victoria Mboko stepped onto the court to face Coco Gauff in the round of 32, few expected what would unfold. Gauff, the world number 3 and a heavy title favorite, seemed primed for a deep run. Mboko had other plans. With a lethal blend of fearless forehands and a deceptively effective slice backhand, she dismantled Gauff 6-3, 6-4 in just under 90 minutes. The victory was clean, confident, and commanding. But it wasn't the scoreline that stunned the tennis world, it was Mboko's composure. She looked like a seasoned veteran out there, Gauff said afterward. She never gave me rhythm. I felt like I was the one chasing. The headlines exploded. Mboko magic in Toronto. Local team topples Gauff in monumental upset. The next big thing has arrived. Staying grounded in a world of hype. In the past, many young players have faltered after big wins. A single high-profile victory can invite overwhelming attention, press requests, new sponsorships, endless social media frenzy. For a teenager, it can be paralyzing. But not for Victoria. I allowed myself 20 minutes to be proud, she said with a soft laugh during an interview the following day. Then I got back to work. When asked how she managed to avoid losing focus, her answer was surprisingly simple. Gratitude, she said, and routine. My coach always reminds me, don't chase the noise. Chase the next ball. Inside Mboko's mindset. Born and raised in Toronto, Victoria Mboko has long been regarded as Canada's next tennis gem. A product of the same Tennis Canada system that produced Bianca Andreescu and Felix Auger-Aliassime, she combines athleticism with a fierce competitive streak. But unlike many of her peers, Mboko has worked quietly, choosing steady improvement over flashy headlines. From a young age, I've journaled before and after every match, she shared. It helps me reset. Whether I win or lose, I write down 3 things I learned. That keeps me focused on the journey, not just the result. After the Gauff win, her entry was telling. Stay brave on big points. My serve is more of a weapon than I thought. Don't get distracted. The job isn't done. No time for celebration. Later that night, while fans flooded her notifications and interviews rolled in from ESPN, TSN, and Eurosport, Victoria turned off her phone and went to bed early. Why? I had practice at 8 a.m., she said with a grin. And my next opponent wasn't going to beat herself. The next opponent was former world number 1 Karolina Pliskova, a towering presence with a monster serve. On paper, the matchup favored Pliskova, but Victoria didn't blink. With tactical brilliance and nerves of steel, she outlasted the Czech star in 3 sets to reach her first WTA quarterfinal. And just like that, the Gauff win was no longer a one-off. It was the spark of something bigger. Advice from a champion. Interestingly, after the Gauff match, Victoria received a message from none other than Bianca Andreescu. She told me, "Don't let one win define your ceiling. Let it define your standard," Victoria recalled. That stuck with me. She also received a brief text from Felix Auger-Aliassime. "Proud of you. Stay in the zone." Clearly, Canada's tennis stars were watching and cheering. What's next for Victoria? Now, in the Canadian Open quarterfinals, Victoria Mboko has suddenly gone from dark horse to crowd favorite. With each round, her confidence is growing, but so is the scrutiny. Still, she remains unshaken. "I'm not here for spotlight," she said. "I'm here to learn, compete, and become the best version of myself on the court. If that means beating a few stars along the way, great. But the real work is still ahead." Her coach, Natalie Fraser, put it best. She's got the talent, no question. But what makes her special is her maturity. She's already figured out something most players don't learn until 25. You don't rise by chasing a moment. You rise by mastering the next one.